Hello and welcome. My name is Kasha. We are doing today a session on um, we'll be talking about a better communication with our guides. How can we have a better connection with our guides? So whether you are very new to this, maybe you have just sort of awoken and you have a faint idea that you have guides, you have maybe tried to connect with them, or perhaps you have been connecting, but it's been a bit hit and miss, or it hasn't felt strong. This session will be fantastic for you because I will share with you some tangible tips, how to improve the connection, but also we'll go right deep into what it means actually connecting with your guide, what that looks like connecting with your guides, so that you have a better understanding, because sometimes it feels like we're looking for it in a wrong place. We have this misconceived maybe idea of what it's meant to be like. We have these expectations, and then when that doesn't happen, then we think straight away, I must be doing something wrong, or perhaps I don't have any guides, they have forsaken me. Now, I just want to tell you, I know this because when I first, I don't know, had this realization that I'm psychic, this is literally how I awoke to it. I'm psychic. And it was confirmed because, of course, I went to all the psychics I could find, and they said, yes, you're psychic, you're clairvoyant, you can sense spirit, you can talk to them. In my head, I thought that means if I wake up tomorrow, I will be able to see them the way Whoopi Goldberg saw Patrick Swayze in Ghost. Remember how she was at first a bit of a fraud and she actually didn't think she could see them till Patrick Swayze turns up, and then all of a sudden she can actually hear him, I think see him, and she had this wonderful connection, and he spoke full sentences to her. He didn't make her work for the messages. She knew what he was saying, and it was very easy. Um, but in the beginning, she felt like a fraud. She acted like a fraud in her sessions because she was looking for it in the wrong places. Now, in my head, I thought this is how it's going to be now. Since I was told I'm clairvoyant and I'm psychic and I can connect to my guides, I'm going to wake up and a Patrick Swayze kind of like ghost spirit guide is going to appear. And I'll be able to speak full sentences, hear him, see him, and will be happy forever. Now, that of course didn't happen. It's not quite like that. So here's what you need to understand about the connection to your guides. We are on the physical plane. The physical plane is quite dense. It is both high vibrational and low vibrational. And the high vibrations are still not as high as what you as a soul are used to coming from up there. Okay, because the other side, like, is you can go higher into higher planes, and the vibration, you know, goes higher. But even at your normal plane where your guides are, where perhaps your loved ones are, it's still higher than what we have here on Earth. The reason you can even connect to the Akashic Records, to God, to angels, to your guides, you can tune into the spirit world, is because when you awaken, you gain this ability, but really awareness, that there is more than just this physical world. There's more. And as soon as you realize that, something clicks, and it's like the channels activate, the channels open, and you have this ability to go beyond the highest of high vibrations on Earth and go even higher, which makes this connection possible. Your guides, even the ones that are here with you, they're vibing still so high that it's like they have to lower their vibration, and they're doing their best. And so sometimes I've had clients who had things happen when it was random symbols appeared. And at first they were like, oh, that must be for my guides. But of course, then analytical mind kicks in and says, no, that's just your mind. That's just a coincidence. It takes quite a lot of energy for your guides to bring through a symbol, to create, to mess with that consciousness of the object to appear in your world. It takes quite a lot of energy. It takes quite a lot of energy to have a spirit drop something off the shelf randomly. And I've had a client actually who messaged me because she was freaking out because things were dropping when she was trying to meditate and connect, and she felt like someone's really patting her hair. So she thought straight away, there must be an evil spirit here. Isn't it funny how a mind goes straight into fear? Turns out it wasn't an evil spirit. It was her guides trying to let her know we're here. Because she asked for signs. She asked for signs. And then when they delivered the signs, she thought immediately it must be something bad, which kind of lowers your frequency. So the first thing that you need to do to have the best connection with your guides is let go of anything that you thought it's going to be. You may never see them in your mind's eye or physical eyes. I hope you will, but you may not. So we're going to let go of that. You may never hear them with full sentences telling you exactly the answer. So you got to let go of that. And there's a catch-22, and I'll tell you in a minute, but you got to let go of this belief that unless I can hear them speak to me clearly and I can hear that it's not my voice, it's someone else's voice, and they're answering my question fully, I'm not connecting. It's not possible. It's not happening for me, or I'm not doing it right. You got to let go of that. It's not true. You got to let go of wanting to know what your guides look like, sound like, what their names are. Because to be honest with you, guides generally, yes, they've had incarnations on Earth. This is how they become your guides. It's almost like it's a condition. If you want to guide people through their lifetimes, you have to know what Earth is like. And then what they do is they read through your plan that you have drafted out in your pre-birthing session before you came down here. This is the manual that I often say we didn't come down with our manual. No, it stayed with your guides. So your guides know what your plans are. And I don't mean like at the age of 35, this soul planned to buy a white Tesla. So, we got to get onto that. But it's more kind of like a roadmap that you have done. And so your guides will have that roadmap, and they know and they can steer you. Now, I have worked with a lot of guides, my own, my clients, and I can tell you, I have never, ever, ever, ever heard or experienced guides talk to us in a way that feels scary, that feels urgent, that creates worry. Even if, let's say, they see there's an accident about to happen and you're not meant to be in that accident, they wouldn't say, okay, you gotta watch out because there's gonna be an accident, right? They're not going to scare you like that. They will gently, perhaps, tell you to slow down or watch out. And when that comes through, it comes with so much love. It is always high vibrational. No one will ever say, watch out for that person, they're a bit sketchy, or don't trust them, or don't do this, or don't trust the government, or, this is all a big thing that happened, to keep you small. They will not talk to you like that. That's not guides. That is ego, most likely, which is fear. Okay, so that's one way that we can tell whether we're getting answers from our ego or from our guides. Guidance from your guides angels, loved ones even, always comes with this high vibrational energy. And this is why I always say, when you meditate, when you sit down to meditate, when you sit down to connect with your guides, when you sit down to ask a question, if you don't get the answer straight away, it's okay. But notice how you feel during and after that meditation. You should feel lighter. You should feel expanded. You should feel loved. You should feel like you are being uplifted. Like they're creating this inner peace, inner calmness in you. Everything will be fine. Because sometimes the answer is not going to come in that moment. It's going to come later, maybe a day, two later. And maybe it's going to come through someone else. That's another thing we got to let go of, this expectation that you have to get your answer straight away. Your mind does that. Your mind can produce an answer, and sometimes it's a good answer, sometimes it's not so good, sometimes it's just fear, because your mind is designed to provide you with logical explanations, with logical answers. So how can we tell when the guidance that comes through is from your guides or your mind? So one way is, what's the frequency? What's the energy? Anything that you receive, like if I ask my guides in the morning, what do I need to know today? If I get, well, you should really reply to this email because you forgot to reply yesterday and they're waiting. So make that your priority. And then all of a sudden I'm starting to stress out and I feel like, oh, I want to interrupt this meditation, go and do my email. That's my ego. Okay, that's the ego. Your guides couldn't care less about emails answered or not answered. What they will do is they will create calmness in the person waiting for your email so that you can respond from a high vibrational energy, not from this energy of like, oh, I've got to respond, right? So if you ask a question, if I ask a question, what do I need to know today? And it comes with stress, fear, that's not it. So what you want to do then is you want to move away from your head. Where do we go? We go into our sacral. You can go into your heart if you're not an empath. If you're an empath and you want to stay in your heart, you got to make sure that you close the energy afterwards. Because if you don't close the energy afterwards and you go out to the shopping center, you will absorb everyone's stuff, energies, because your heart will be open. So go into your sacral. Go into your sacral, and when you're in your sacral, you want to see yourself in a calm, safe space. Now, on my website, I have shared a free sacral meditation that you can go and grab, and it gives you, it's a longer version probably. If I'm doing this like quickly, because I know I'm in my head, I will just see myself going down into this orange space. But if you want a little bit more, that meditation will be fantastic, and you can just go to kasha.love and find the free meditation under freebies. So once when you're in your sacral and you open your channel and you set the intention that anything that drops in now is from my guides, then anything that drops in will be from your guides. Another way to know that your guides are talking to you, and this is usually what happens in the beginning, especially because you haven't fine-tuned the art of relaxation, of relaxing your mind, of going into that neutral state. The more you meditate, the more you do those practices, the more they will become part of you, so much so that you will end up being in that neutral state. That's our goal, in that neutral state. But if you're new to this, you may not know how to do it. So what often happens is when you're having a shower, when you are about to drift off to sleep, or maybe during your sleep time, when you're driving and you're driving along a road that you know very well, so you don't have to really, like know the directions and focus on directions. You can just relax and drive because you know where you're going. Your guides will all of a sudden bring a thought, maybe call your friend, or they'll bring an image of your friend and to call her. And when you do call her, after you arrived safely to your destination, turns out that, maybe she had some great news, or maybe she's having a bad day, or maybe she was thinking of you and she was about to call you. That is called interrupting the pattern. And this is a really, really powerful way to see the difference between your own thoughts and guidance. Because it may still come through and feel and sound like as if it was your own thinking. But as you're driving, let's use that example. You're listening maybe to some funky tunes, you're thinking about your day, you're thinking about where you're going, perhaps what you will do as soon as you arrive. You've got to look for a parking spot, and all of a sudden your friend pops into your head. And perhaps you even hear, call her. And again, this will come with love. It won't feel like you've got to call her, this is an emergency. It'll feel just lovely. Maybe it'll be a lovely memory of you to all of a sudden it pops into your head, a memory of you and her doing something. So the interrupting of the pattern, which means you have a regular pattern of thinking, as in you were actively thinking, I gotta find parking. When I get out, I gotta remember to take my keys, right? I'm going to this building. I've got to remember I've got to turn left. I think they're on the 5th floor. I've got to remember to buy, some oranges before I go, or some milk for home. Like all these things, that's your natural pattern. But then all of a sudden there's something that interrupts it. Or perhaps you have a whole stream, a whole conversation. This always happens to me when I'm driving long stretches. I love driving for that reason, because I get this whole stream. And I've learned that if I wait till I get to my destination, forget about it. I cannot remember. For the life of me, I cannot remember. So what I have to do actually is pull over where it's safe. I grab my recorder and I record it the way it's coming in, because that is important. Because later on, when I listen to it again, I'm like, oh wow, I don't even remember thinking this. I don't remember even like why. Why was I thinking about this? When was this? The same happens when you do automatic writing, right? Like when you write and then you put it away, and then let's say you come back to it later and you read it and you're like, oh, I don't even remember writing this. That doesn't sound like me. That's your proof that you channeled guidance from your guides. When this happens and you're driving, please, please, of course, be safe. Don't just pull over quickly. If anything, just say to them, can you please bring it back to me later? I can't. I love it. I want to grab this, but I can't, right? Sometimes it's an idea and I'm like, okay, I can't do this now. Can you bring it to me later? But start noticing when it comes through, not in that moment, just allow that stream to come in. Sometimes it flows so quickly. It flows so quickly. And you're not thinking. So if you're thinking about a conversation, let's say, okay, let's say if I'm thinking of a conversation, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to say this, she's going to say this. Okay, maybe I won't say this because I don't want to upset her. Oh, remember that last time when I said this and she got a little bit offended? Like you go on this train thought, but when it comes through from your guides, it flows and you're like, oh my God, it sounds so perfect, right? Perhaps it was a question that you had. And as you're having a shower, you get this whole stream of how and when and what to do, and it flows and it makes you feel great and it feels expanded. And you're like, oh my God, it's just coming to you so easy and effortlessly. Because that's the other key. Guidance from your guides comes easy and effortlessly. You don't have to think about it. So if I asked now participant A to tell me, what does participant B need to know today? Their mind would be like, well, I don't even know her. I don't know anything about, I don't know what her plans are. See, and your mind is already trying to make sense of it and trying to fetch an answer. It's trying to like pull up data that, unless you know someone, you know about the day, you don't really know anything about them. So how can you know? And so it's starting to panic. And then you go like, oh my God, I don't know anything. I'm going to look like an idiot. And you start to escalate this and it amplifies, but it's like chaos. It's nothing calm, nothing that makes sense. Maybe you'll get something like, she'll probably be going for a walk because the weather is nice, right? So that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's try this. If I tell you now, what is 1 orange plus 2 oranges plus 5 apples? 1 orange plus 2 oranges plus 5 apples. You don't have to answer. But did you know? Your mind started to kind of think. Oranges, apples, 1, 2, 5, what? Right? It starts to come up with an answer for you. Fishing for information, that's what your mind is designed to do. Your logical mind is designed to provide you with answers to keep you safe. Because if you don't know the answer, you could be in trouble. You could be rejected. People could laugh at you. People could say that you're not smart. And that could be detrimental to our existence. So while your mind is fantastic in remembering basic logical things, like when you leave the house, turn off the stove, right? Don't leave the stove on. Close the door, take your keys. Make sure to drink water. Eat. Maybe eat healthy. That's all. What is healthy? Your mind starts to analyze. When you ask your guides, the answer will be calm. It'll be expanding you. It will make you feel uplifted. Your guides would never say to you, what do I need to know today? Well, you've been lazy yesterday, you did nothing, so today maybe do some hard work. Scrub the tub, clean those toilets. People are coming later, you've got to make dinner. They're not going to say this. Your mind might, but not your guides. So I just want to see from my participants here whether we have any questions already around this topic. And if you have a question, you are welcome to unmute yourself, can ask, but if not, we'll keep going. Okay, so, and if you're watching it and you feel like, I have a couple of questions, please feel free to pop them below, and I will answer them. It all makes sense. Fantastic. I've got a secret audience here that no one knows, and I love it because it makes it so much nicer to be doing these sort of sessions. So how can we get started with our guides? Just like with any practice, and this happens to me all the time when Akashic Masters bring through guidance for people, and they go like, oh, where am I going to squeeze this in? I'm already so busy. So think of it this way. You have to brush your teeth at least twice a day, right? You do it every day. You just get up, you brush your teeth in the evening, you go to bed. You dust your house, you have showers on a regular basis. You just do it. You don't ever say, well, where am I going to squeeze this practice in? Think of these practices as kind of that. It'll make your life easier. It'll make your life nicer, better. And instead of thinking of them as extra chores, just think of them as just something that we do. It's going to become a habit. Number one is, instead of trying to figure out who your guides are, like what they look like, what they sound like, what their name is, I invite you to take a moment after this, perhaps, to sit in silence, like even just for 5 minutes. Take nice deep breaths. I usually like to take nice 3 deep breaths. When you take those deep breaths, what happens is your heart slows down, your body slows down, and most importantly, your mind slows down. You're going to an open state. And I want you to think about something that brings you joy, something that feels good, feels light. I want you to think about something that, maybe standing at the beach, putting your toes into the water makes you feel happy, joyful. Perhaps it's colors, perhaps it's music. So think about that just for a few moments, a few seconds. Notice what happens in your body. You can feel yourself probably getting a little bit excited. That's your energy going up. And then I want you to just surrender, just let go. And usually with my students, we have this little practice. We visualize going into a tub or into a spa with nice warm water, and we just go, and start letting go, like, all right. Because when you're in a spa or having a nice relaxing bath, you don't have to do anything. You don't hopefully think about the dishes or what you will do after. I hope that when you go in, like myself, we just relax and we're just, oh, this is wonderful. I just love being in a state of I don't have to do anything. I can just relax. So see that next. And then set the intention. And I usually like to visualize a channel here that opens up. So even though your guides are here, they're in your first auric field. Okay, they're really close. Even if you think you don't have them or you don't feel them, they're actually really, really close. So they're here. So visualize this opening up. Now, when I say the channel opens up, what happens is your awareness, you're expanding your awareness. So it's like we've turned on a light, it's dark, we've turned on the light, and we're going to set the settings up so the light goes bigger so that we can, oh wow, I can see more now in this room, right? Because the light is getting bigger. I can see it. So you expand your channel. You set the intention that you wish to communicate with your guides. And whatever pops in now into this channel, into this mind, you might see it at the front, some see it here, some see it outside, some hear it, some feel it. So pay attention how you receive information, but when it comes in, whatever comes in is from guides. We're not going to question it. And you may want to stop and write it down, right? Automatic writing is fantastic. So just start writing. Don't overthink it. Don't wonder, how do I do automatic writing? Just write. I mean, there's tutorials on it, but while you're in this state, just write whatever's coming. And whenever I teach someone connecting with guides, connecting with higher self, connecting with Akashic records, I always say, don't judge the information. You see what you see. If you see a tree with purple leaves, if that's what they're showing you, you write it down. I saw a tree with purple leaves. You don't say, well, that was weird. I'm not gonna, it was purple, but it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna write, I saw a tree. No, purple could be relevant. So write everything down. There's this great story one of my students had, and she saw actually, I think it was a tree, and it had like colorful leaves. This is probably why this example stuck in my head. And she asked a question. What do I need to do next in my life, right? She was on a healing journey and she asked a question, and she saw this tree with all these colorful leaves. And it was really interesting because it didn't make sense to her. So she didn't even put her hand up when I said, who wants to share? Because to her, it was like, well, that's crazy. So anyway, we got it out of her. I said, just share what you saw. And she said, I saw a tree with all these colorful leaves. It doesn't make sense because this is what I asked. I'm like, okay, well, just make a note of it. And the next, I don't know, day or two, she was visiting a friend. And on her coffee table was a book with a picture of a tree with like rainbow leaves. And underneath was something like, coaching something, because it was a workbook that her friend was doing. And I think she was becoming a coach or something, and it had something specific there, like retreats for women. I don't know. Anyways, she saw this and she immediately felt this resonance. Yes, working with women, right? Coaching. That was her answer. I possibly not remember the details of the book and stuff, but basically her answer was on the cover of this book. But if she had dismissed it, she probably would have forgotten about it. So don't judge, don't dismiss, write everything down. And as you sit the next day, as you sit, ask questions, ask them to show you signs, show you symbols. And if you feel like you might miss it, because this used to be me. I used to ask for a sign and I would forget about it. So there's actually this funny story. I asked for a sign and I saw a rainbow. So I said, okay, so show me a rainbow in the next couple of days or so, so I know, oh, sorry, a rainbow, but they actually showed me double rainbow. And I'm like, okay, good luck. So show me a double rainbow in the next couple of days. So I know that, I don't know, I think you're here or that you're supporting me on this journey. It was something like that. Anyways, probably 2 days went by, you know, we did things, went to the play center, saw a couple of friends, and then I was like, hang on a minute, I didn't see any double rainbow. There was no rainbow. It was cloudy, there was no rainbow. And they said, yes, you did see a double rainbow. I'm like, no, I can't remember. And then what pops into my head, unexpected thought, right, interrupting the pattern, was a memory of on the first day I was at a play center and I was sitting next to a friend and she was showing me pictures of a double rainbow that she took. And I saw it. I saw the double rainbow in her pictures, but I kind of didn't even take notice, you know, whatever, I forgot. I wasn't even thinking about it. So in my head, I had it, I have to see the double rainbow on this in the sky. And that's why I probably forgot about it, because I noticed the sky is gray. It's not going to happen. So don't forget when you ask for your signs and symbol, and stay open. In fact, what helps is if you get playful. So this is my last tip for you. Aside from having these playful conversations with them, asking them for signs and symbols, and say, I want clear signs. I don't want to miss them. Show me a sign. Show me a sign so I don't miss it. And usually the first thing that pops into your head will be the sign. So that's another good thing. But here's my final tip. Stay curious and playful. Curious and playful. If you are in a state of, well, it hasn't happened, when is it going to happen? I don't think they communicate with me, then it's much harder for them to communicate with you. Whereas if you're in that curious, playful state of like, ooh, I wonder how they're going to show me today that they're here. I wonder what you're going to do. I wonder, like, what will be the sign or symbol? I wonder what's going to happen today. You will start to notice moments where you can be present and see those signs and symbols, because we are busy and we tend to forget, and that's just a sign that we are not very present, but that's a whole nother session for a whole nother day. But when you ask, and you ask them, make them clear, make them loud. Like my client who had stuff falling off the shelf, she probably asked for a clear sign, so they were being clear, and she thought immediately, I have a poltergeist here or something. So relaxed state, raise your vibration, let go, just go. Set the intention that you will, and that's the opening of the awareness, set the intention that anything that drops in now is from your guides. And then ask signs, they will deliver the signs. When you talk to a human, when you're talking to another human, you can see them, you can feel them, they're standing, right? You have that interaction. But when you are talking to a being that's not in this physical world with us, you have to really, really let go of the physical senses. You're going to let go of the physical senses, let go of seeing, hearing with your ears, feeling them, and you got to instead turn to your soul senses, which is your clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience. I'm not even going to go with clairalien and clairgusto because you might taste and smell them, but I feel like that's more with loved ones, maybe. So do we have any questions on that note? Let me have a look. I think we had something. Pay more attention to. Is that a clear sign that we should pay more attention to? Yeah. See, I told you. And this happens so so many times to me in a session where internet just drops out or something gets disconnected, because as we're talking about them, we're building that energy, and our guides are here with us. And sometimes when they come full force, you might feel like, oh, I'm out of breath, or internet is funky, or you start to like feel a bit fainty. So you got to tell them to back off a little bit. Some guides are very powerful, very excited, and so they come in not realizing that your little human body can't handle that much energy. And I've had actually what was it, a couple of days ago, I had someone come in for a session. They wanted to get to know their guides and who and all that stuff and how to connect with them. And it was funny because I just closed my eyes. I'm like, okay, let's welcome them in. And this one came in, and he was a big guide, so big. And when he came in, he was beautiful. It was like this lovely giant. But when he came in, oh my goodness, he took my breath away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. What's happening? I'm thinking, am I having a heart attack? But it was like a split of a second. And I said, can you please back away a little bit? Back away. This is too much energy. And as soon as I said that, I could feel like, okay, the energy is dissolving a little bit, or it's becoming a little bit lighter, and he was standing a little bit up there. Um, so it's really funny. So just play with energy, get really curious, ask questions, ask symbols. But the most important thing is don't forget that you've asked, because when the answer comes and you have forgotten, you won't notice it, like me with the rainbows. Any questions, my lovely ones? And then we can conclude this. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this helps you to create your own good relationship with your guides, because I can tell you, when you start working with your guides, life gets so much better, so much easier. And mostly because your mind can only give you answers that work to a limited pattern. Limited pattern, limited answers. Whereas your guides, it's like they're up on these mountains or up high in the trees, and they can see so far ahead, and they can tell you, um, they can tell you what's ahead. You know, they look at your pre-birthing plan. They're like, well, you really wanted to do this, or you really wanted to go there. Do you still want to go there? And of course, you have free will, and you're like, I'm not interested. I want to keep going that way. So what they do is, all right, everyone, all the guides, we're going this way. She's going that way. They'll just support you. They love you. They will never tell you that's the wrong way, that's the right way, because there's no right, no wrong for the soul. The soul just wants to have an experience, and the guides are here to guide. And even things like premature death, which happens actually very rarely, and usually it's been planned by the soul in that pre-birthing session. It's been planned so that the soul can perhaps have an awakening. Perhaps the soul goes, okay, if I get up to this part in my life and I'm still nowhere close, and I really want to learn this, I really want to experience this, we're going to have this, I don't know, near-death experience, or this almost crash. And that will be the trajectory that will catapult me onto this path. So your guides will gently help you to either bypass it, or to have a gentler, you know, not essentially leave your in this particular event. But other than that, they never come and they never scare you. There's never any fear. Usually that's our ego, to be honest with you. I haven't experienced negative entities. There's very few. And if you're vibrating high, and you're someone who is not sucked into fear, because fear is like that bridge that kind of, they see your light, they love it, and it's not even that they want to harm you, they just want the light because it helps them. So your fear is kind of like that bridge. So don't have any fear. Don't have a fear of connecting. Don't have a fear of playing with tarot if you want. I mean, that's another little thing that we're scared of. Just go and be playful and open and try and experiment and have fun.